Hi, I'm Jax Rogan,
I'm Evan Whitney.
and today we're going to be covering the MLB 2020 playoffs. And I know we covered the NFL last week, but this week we're covering baseball as we love all sports. And each week we'll probably be changing what we cover sports-wise. We love the MLB, the NBA, college football, NFL, you know it. And the first game of the AL Wildcard Series today is the number 3 seed Twins against the number 6 seed Astros at 2. It's really good pitcher for the Twins, Kenta Maeda versus Zach Greinke, the veteran for the Houston Astros. I think the key matchup and X factor for this game is just Houston have enough pitching. They have a lot of young guns, but they haven't really had any experience. They lost Garrett Cole in the offseason and went to the Yankees, who we'll get into later. And they lost Verlander this year to Tommy John. I really think that Zach Greinke and co is going to have to carry because this Twins offense can really hit. And then now we got the number 7 seed White Sox against the number 2 seed A's. It's Lucas Giolito, the man who threw a no-hitter this year, versus the young gun Jesus Luzardo. I think the key matchup here is the A's bullpen. I think they can really be the force of the series to shut down the potent White Sox offense led by Robert, MVP candidate Jose Abreu and co. And then we move on to the number 8 seed Blue Jays against the number 1 seed Rays at 5 p.m. It's Matt Schumacher versus Blake Snell. I think the key matchup really overall this series is going to be the Blue Jays hitting against the Rays pitching. The Blue Jays hitting, led by Teoscar Hernandez, Bo Bichette, and Vlad Guerrero is really, really good this year. They've given the Yankees and other teams in the AL East problems. And the Rays pitching has been really good this year, as the two-headed monster led by Charlie Morton and Blake Snell have been really good, along with a bullpen led by Nick Anderson. And, of course, we move on to my favorite personal team, the Cleveland Indians against the Indians are the number 4 seed against the 5-seeded Yankees. It's the AL Cy Young for sure. Shane Bieber for the Indians versus Garrett Cole. I think the key matchup is the Indians outfielders, because I really think if they want to win this series, the Indians outfielders led by Delino DeShields, Josh Naylor, Oscar Mercado have to be really good and keep up with the star-studded outfield in New York with Stanton, Judge, and Aaron Hicks.
All right, so now we're moving on to the wild card games for the NL division, and our first game, the 8 seed Brewers versus the 1 seed Dodgers at 10 p.m. So we don't know who's pitching yet for the Brewers, but we know Buehler's will be going for the Dodgers. So our key matchup here is the Brewers bullpen led by Devin Williams, who's had an outstanding season, and Josh Hader. So I personally think this is going to be a one-sided show with the Dodgers whooping up on the Brewers. They're just too much talent in my opinion. The next matchup, the 7 seed Reds versus the 2 seed Braves at noon. We got Bauer versus Fried. This should be a outstanding matchup. Bauer, probably the NL Cy Young winner, versus Fried, who has had an outstanding season as well. So the key thing here with this series is Braves hitting versus the Reds' dominant starters, with Bauer, Castillo, and Gray. So I think the Braves hitting, I think they're going to be slowed down a little bit. They've been hot all year. This Reds starting staff has been outstanding. I think the Reds will get it done in this series. The next series, we got the 6 seed Marlins versus the 3 seed Cubs at 2 p.m. tomorrow. All these NL games are going to be played tomorrow. So the Marlins' two-headed pitching monsters, Sandy Alcantara and Sixto Sanchez versus this Cubs team. The experienced Cubs lineup, Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant. I think they will perform at a pretty good level in this series. I think the Marlins snuck in, but I don't think they'll be able to get anything farther than the wild card. The next series, we got the 5 seed Cardinals versus the 4 seed Padres, 5 p.m. tomorrow. We don't know who's quite going for the Padres yet, but they got Clevenger, Lamet, Davies. I mean, the Padres got a really good starting rotation, and they can absolutely rake the ball. Machado, I think he's he's got a really good chance of up there at the MVP. He's had a really good year. I think the Padres are a really good team this year, and I don't think the Cardinals really stand too much of a chance against them.
So now for the next section of our MLB predictions, we're going to talk about me and Evan's favorite teams. So my favorite team is different than his, as I already said. I'm an Indians fan, and going into the postseason, I was a little worried. We lost 8 in a row. We weren't hitting the ball. Our pitchers were pitching really bad, and we should beat some teams that we can usually destroy, but we were losing to. But we ended the season really hot. We won 3 out of 4 against a really good White Sox team. And then we won 3 out of 4 against a bad Pittsburgh team. But it got us all the way up to the 4th seed in the division. So we got a really good seed, but we got a really bad matchup, in my opinion, with the New York Yankees. I think they give us a lot of problems offensively. I think they can really hit the ball well. But I really think where our strength is our pitching. And I think if Shane Bieber, who's our Game 1 starter, Carlos Carrasco, our Game 2 starter, and Zach Plesac, our Game 3 starter, they really need to lock it down. They need to hold the fort down and go to work against this really good Yankees lineup. And I know we're facing Garrett Cole and co., but I think if our offense can give us a few runs, we got a chance. But I don't think, even if we win this series, I think we will not beat the Rays. But I really think this team made a lot of progress this year. I like the direction they're going. I think Sandy Almar's done a really good job filling in for Terry Francona as manager. I believe that we're a few pieces away, but I really am excited for October baseball because, anything can happen. A weirdly built Nationals team last year who didn't really have a bullpen somehow won the World Series. I mean, anything can happen in October baseball, and especially in 2020 with Corona. But I really believe the Indians will give the Yankees a good series, and I think that if the Indians can just keep pitching and stay in games, that we can win this 3-game series. And who knows, we can go from there. But I really like the steps we've taken this year, and I hope that we can do way better next year and re-sign our best player. And he's a top 5 player in baseball, and that's Francisco Lindor. But if that doesn't happen, I think we're going to start rebuilding. But I really like the direction we're going.
So now on to my favorite team, the Cincinnati Reds. So the Reds got off to an absolutely horrible start this year. And I thought there was absolutely no hope of the playoffs, but they turned it up in the end and won, I think it was 4 straight series to end the year, getting them in the 7th seed in the playoffs. So I think the only way they're going to have any chance in this playoffs is hitting the ball. Their pitchers have been outstanding all year. Their bullpen did not start off great, but they have turned it around for sure. With the Sonny Gray, Castillo, Bauer, I mean, they're outstanding, and hopefully Bauer will get re-signed next year. He's been a key player to this team. I just think Joey Votto, Jesse Winker, Akiyama, I think they all need a hit. Suarez needs to get going a little more, with only hitting like 200 in the regular season. I think if they can all get going and the pitching can stay the way they've pitched all year, I think this will be a scary team in the playoffs, and I think they can make some noise down the road to come still. All right, so now me and Jax will be going over our playoff predictions. I'll be starting off with the AL wildcard matchups. So first one I got is I think the Twins will beat the Astros. I think the Twins have too good of hitting. I don't think the Astros have enough pitching to slow the Twins' offense down. So then I got the A's. I think they're going to slow down the White Sox hitting. The White Sox weren't as hot as they were at the very end of the year than they had been previous. So I think the A's will get it done. I think that'll be a good series, though. I think the Rays are going to beat the Blue Jays. I think the Rays are a very good team this year. I think they'll win easily in their first 2 games. Their pitching's too good, and I think their hitting is improved too. I got the Indians over the Yankees. I think this will be the best series in the AL, especially with Game 1 with Bieber and Cole. I think the Indians' hitting will improve, and their pitching is going to stand out as well. So now on to the NL. I think the Dodgers over the Brewers. I think that's a no-brainer for me and just about everybody. The Dodgers are just too good. I mean, their hitting, it's outstanding. Their pitching's outstanding. I just think the Dodgers just have too much talent this year. Then I got the Cubs over the Marlins. I just don't think the Marlins are good enough. They snuck in there with the 6th seed at the end of the year. The Phillies just couldn't sneak in there. So I got the Cubs. I think their hitting will overmatch the Marlins. I got the Reds over the Braves. Too good of starting pitching for the Reds. Braves just aren't going to hit as well as some people might think, I don't think. Padres over the Cardinals. The Padres' offense is just too good, and their starting pitching is outstanding as well. So on the ALDS, I got the Rays over the Indians. I think the Indians are going to slow down their hitting. I think the Rays will shut them down for the most part. And then I think the A's will beat the Twins. I don't think the Twins will continue their success this year. I think their hitting will slow down as well. I think the A's pitching will dominate. And then for the LDS, I got the Reds over the Cubs. I think the starting pitching is just good enough, and I think the bats will be just good enough with the starting pitching to win the series. Then I got the Dodgers over the Padres. I think if this happens, this will be one of the best series of the year. I think the Dodgers have the most talent in the MLB right now, and the Padres hitting, but I think the Dodgers will pull it off. And then the ALCS, I got the Rays over the A's. I really like this A's team this year. Rays team. I really like the A's too, but I think the Rays will just get it done with their pitching. I think their starters will get it done for them with Snell and Morton. So for the NLCS, I have the Dodgers over the Reds. The Dodgers are just too good in my opinion. The Reds hitting isn't good enough to beat them. And for my World Series pick, I got the Dodgers over the Rays. Both outstanding teams this year. The Dodgers hitting and pitching is just too good. And my MVP is Mookie Betts. So now we'll move on to Jax's picks. So Jax, what you got for us?
All right, thanks, Evan. So now we move on to my picks. I'll also start in the AL wild card. I got the Rays over the Blue Jays in 2 games. I really agree with Evan here. The Rays pitching is really dominant, and I just don't see the Blue Jays standing a chance. And now we move on to the second game. I got the White Sox upsetting the A's. I know Evan's really high on the A's, but I think the White Sox offense led by Jimenez, Luis Robert, and co., I think they're just really good. And I think the A's losing Matt Chapman's a big loss for them, and I just think they can't rebound after that. Having Jake Lamb now's there, who's not as good as Matt Chapman and not really good as defensively. And I know Matt Chapman's like the cornerstone to that team, so that's going to really be a big loss. So now we move on to the 3 seed. We got the Twins over the 6 seed Astros for me in 3 games. I think the Twins being really good at home is a big help for them. Although I think the Astros will put up a really good fight. I think George Springer, Altuve, and Greinke all get going. And I think Greinke throws a really good game. But I think Nelson Cruz, Eddie Rosario, and all those great hitters can really power them to put them in the ALDS. So now, my favorite team, I'm not trying to be biased here, but I think the Indians can win over the Yankees in 3 games. I think our offense gets going like it has. I think Franmil Reyes, Carlos Santana, Tyler Naquin, our 4, 5, and 6 hitters are really key, and I think they step up this series and get a few hits off Garrett Cole to steal Game 1 and get going and win the game in 3 games and have a really good series. And I agree with Evan here that it's going to be the best series of the opening wild card round. So now we move on to the NL wildcard round. I got the Dodgers over the Brewers game. This is a really big mismatch. I really love this Dodgers team, and I just think they're way more talented than the Brewers. The Brewers are missing people, and I just think it's no doubt the Dodgers will win in 2 games. I think me and Evan both agree on this next one. We both got the Reds over the Braves. I have it in 3 games, though. I don't know if Evan has it in 3 games, but I think the Reds have really good pitching. I think Bauer goes out there and shoves. I think he's going to be really doing well. He's going to deal. He plays with that emotion, that swagger, that confidence that really will propel this Reds team. And I don't sleep on Mike Moustakas, the Reds second baseman. I think he can really carry this offense into the NLDS and really give them a shot to go far in the playoffs. Now, for my 3 seed and 6 seed, although I really love the Marlins double-headed monster in Sandy Alcantara and Sixto Sanchez, I got the Cubs over the Marlins in 3 games. This is a World Series team that still has most of its pieces. They got their catcher as their manager. I really think they know how to win in the playoffs, which is key, and I think the Marlins are just too young, but they made a lot of strides this offseason and in season to really put them in position to compete in a few years. Now we have the Padres, who I really am high on over the Cardinals in 2 games. I think Tatis and Machado are really good on the left side of the infield, maybe the top left side of the infield duo in baseball right now. And I think the rotation is really good. I don't think the Cardinals can really hit with them at all. Now going into my ALDS, I got the Rays over the Indians in 5 games. I think the Rays offense with Austin Meadows, Brendan Lau, G-Man Choi, Willie Adames, I think they're really good. And I just don't think the Indians can hit with them or pitch with them. I think even though the Indians have really good pitching, I think the bullpen of the Rays, led by Nick Anderson, this will be the not last time you hear his name. I think he's really good. And now for my other ALDS, I got the Twins over the White Sox in 3 games. I think they sweep them. I think the Twins, are really talented. I think they give the White Sox problems, especially with their starting pitching. Even though the White Sox have a 2-headed monster, I really believe in this Twins team to get to the ALCS. Now we move on to the NLDS. This is a big upset. I know this is Evan's World Series champions. I got the Padres over the Dodgers in 5 games. I think this is a very cool series, but I really love this Padres team. I love their rotation. I love their bullpen led by Trevor Rosenthal. I just think that this team can get it done and somehow beat this, what people seem to be the World Series favorite, and it's not even close, but I think they get it done. I really do. And now my other NLDS, I think me and Evan disagree here, but I really think the Cubs beat the Reds in 4 games. I think their stars, Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, John Lester, really get going. I just think that Bauer loses a little gas. I think he's been on full go the last 2-3 weeks to try to put this team in the playoffs, but I don't think the Reds can hit with the Cubs, and I think the Cubs just are way too experienced, as the Reds haven't been in playoffs since 2013. Now we move to my ALCS pick. I got the Rays over the Twins. I think the Rays finally get back to the World Series for the first time in like a decade almost. And I think they find a way to get it done with Ryan Yarbrough, Charlie Morton, and Blake Snell as their 3-headed monster pitching. And on my NLCS, I'm telling you, I love this Padres team. I got them beating the Cubs in 7 games. Denilson Lamet, Mike Clevenger, Chris Paddock, and Zach Davies carry this team to the World Series. I really think those 4 starters go deep in all the games they pitch in, and I just think that they're really talented, and I really like this way it's going. But now we get to my World Series pick. I got the Rays in 6 games. I really like this Rays team. I've been high on them all year, and I don't think there's any team that can really stop them. I think their bullpen's really dominant. They would give the Padres issues with their bullpens. They can matchups they can get. And my MVP for this series is Brandon Lau. That's going to be it. I'm Jax Rogan.
I'm Evan Whitney.
And we're going to get back to our Week 4 NFL coverage next week, and we'll be back to that next week, and it'll be posted by Friday. Thank you for watching, and peace.